Hello and welcome to the LinkedIn studio at Cannes. I'm Catherine Shapley and I lead our global strategic accounts here at LinkedIn, and really excited to be here today. We are talking about AI and the fact that it has made it easier than ever to produce content, and yet it's harder than ever to make that content matter. When everyone has the same tools, volume is not the differentiator, it's credibility. And today I'm joined by two people who are actively wrestling with that question at two of the world's leading tech companies. So I want to start with a couple of quick intros, who you are, what you do, and what's top of mind for you guys at Cannes this week.
Okay.
Jay-Z or Liz?
Oh, I'm Liz Armistead. I lead the brand team at Dropbox, and I think at Cannes every year the question really is, how do we maintain the maximum level of creativity and keep pushing ourselves to do better?
Great.
That's a great way to put it. I'm John Zissimos, Chief Brand and Creative Officer at Salesforce, and I've been coming here for 25 years off and on, and it's all about the ideas, and technology has come and gone. There's something new all the time. It's about how do you apply it to do great work and tell better stories.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I think it is all about the ideas, and yet there is technology, and as leaders of teams, they are obviously using AI, and you expect them to in some way. And so I wonder, how do you think about the balance between them using AI as a tool and also making sure that the creative stands out?
That's a great question. I think, first you have to remember to stay true to the fundamentals of brand building, and that's really listening to your customers, understanding your audience, and always building from a customer insight. So making sure that you're staying emotionally resonant and human, but also leveraging AI in ways that make the work better. So a couple of examples that we're using, maybe 2 years ago, you might have thought about using research in your creative process once because you would have the budget and the time to do so. Now we can use it 4 or 5 times because we can use synthetic researchers with real people and get that feedback within 48 hours. And that makes the work a lot better, which is amazing. And that's an incredibly powerful tool. Another example, reporting takes a ton of time.
Arguably the least creative part of the process.
The least creative part. I don't know anybody in marketing who enjoys that part of the process, right?
Right.
And our team just spent a little time in the last few months. We took a day off. Part of the team spent some time building a live updating website that pulls all of our insights in from our brand trackers, our leading indicators, our brand lift studies. And that website's accessible by all of our stakeholders so they can see in real time how the brand's doing. And that saves the team 20, 30 hours a month. So instead of spending that time doing reporting and pulling stats, they can spend the time making the work better. And I think that's ways that you can leverage AI to refocus your time on making better work instead of just the busy work.
Yeah, to do the things that people want to do.
Exactly.
And are trained to do.
Exactly.
And that's the best part of it. I mean, look, we're trying to transform every customer that we have using AI, and we have to do it ourselves. We're living it, we're breathing it. Everyone in the company had to learn how to install an Agentforce agent. At Salesforce, we all had to go through the training, and then we had a lot of respect for the people that actually did it after that. But I think the first wave of any technology, especially AI, is it affords the individual an opportunity to do more during the day. Like, my goal in life is not the work. Yeah. My goal is to get home. I want to be a great father and a great husband. And I use AI at the first level to allow me to get home faster. Sorry, I've lost my voice there. Yeah. And that's my goal. I'm using it for that. The next wave is, what can you do with this that you could never do before? We're making things we can never afford to do, that were impossible before, and that is magic. And the third wave is going to be when your entire team is using it in a way that's like a concert. And that your strategists are using it to drive better strategy, you're getting better reports. I mean, we live in data at Salesforce. Without it, we can't do our best work. And when we all are using it in a way that tells a better story, that helps us connect with our customers in a whole new way, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, I love the point about the sort of third wave and it feeling like a concert.
Yeah.
And everyone's sort of playing their part. And it's such an exciting time in the industry because we're sort of moving from sort of this wild experimentation everywhere to a place where we can point to what's the best in class person on the guitar or the drums. So obviously you guys are focused on the creativity, and yet there's a lot of content out there that is, you can tell very quickly that it was produced by AI. On the other hand, you know, and particularly in B2B, I have a B2C background, and when I moved over to B2B, I was sort of, I thought there was a room for opportunity, right, and creativity. And I wonder if you can point to a piece of work, either yours or someone else's, that sort of has made you think, aha, that is uniquely human, and that had to be made by a person. Like, what was the tell on that?
Well, usually there are real people in it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about like everything we do, we're basically put our customers on stage. We have an event somewhere in the world every day, someplace. We have more events than we have days in the year. And every one of those events are our customers on stage talking about what they've been able to do using our products. Excuse me. And we make films with them, and they're real people. Around that, you might have some B-roll. You can augment things with AI, but you know, and there's nothing beats a real human being talking about their experience in any way. So that is the most important thing we do. Authenticity is now even more important than it was before because of the world of AI. So, you know, if you want to be an authentic brand, you have to learn, well, what are you going to do with it? What are the rules you're going to use? And how do you use it to be even more authentic, more optimistic? And I love the fact that I go on the internet about you and I see a bunch of AI slop, because it helps our brand and great creatives stand out. The best creatives in the world will use this technology to do even more incredible things. And it's just, the internet's flooded with all the slop, but you wouldn't know if someone used it to do something brilliant because you wouldn't think about it that way. You're just seeing it as great work.
Sure.
And there's a lot of that happening.
The storytelling is so key. And I know you do a lot of interviews at Dreamforce and some of the other events with customers. And how do you pull out that authenticity?
You just sit with them and ask them.
Yeah.
You know, what I find sitting where you are is that once you get into you know, you get someone comfortable and you're behind the camera and they want to talk about their accomplishments, and you get them comfortable, and they have pride in what they've done, and as soon as you can get them relaxed, the truth comes out. You know, and it's all about what they're able to accomplish. People are proud of what they've done, and then that is the best interview that you can have.
Yeah. How about you, Liz?
Oh, there's so many great examples. I'll give two. One is not ours. I came across, it's called Wiki Farmer. It's a website and a documentary, and it was a project that brought together a really interesting insight. There are rice farmers all around the world, and something like hundreds of tons of rice are not commercially viable, but there's also a need for rice at weddings. You know, people throw rice at people at weddings, right? And so this project was meant to bring these two needs together. So connecting farmers with wedding planners to use this inedible rice, and it gave them an income stream for this without and not wasting sort of all this food source. And it ends up supplying something like 20 million weddings a year. The documentary is gorgeous. It's so moving and beautiful. It's just the most human thing. If you see it, there's not a chance in the world that this was made by a machine. I mean, it's so beautiful. So that's a really great example, and obviously built from a human insight. The other is a campaign that we built completely in-house. Our creative director and strategist came up with this from a human insight, but I think every creative can relate to the moment when an idea you've come up with is about to go from private to public. You have been sort of thinking about it, and you're going to share it either with a collaborator or maybe with the world, and you're about to hit that share button, and a lot of times that happens in Dropbox. And you know, that's a moment of excitement and thrill and sort of nervousness and fear, and it's a very vulnerable moment. And You don't know what's about to happen. And I think we saw that as a moment that's very, very important to celebrate. Because if you didn't have that, that bravery, there would be no innovation, there would be no culture, there would be nothing new. And so our whole campaign is really about celebrating that moment of sharing. And I'm so, so proud of the work. And there's just not a world where that could have been created by AI.
Yeah, so cool. And in a world where we need bravery more than ever.
Yes.
When you think about the AI sort of efficiencies and productivity that our teams are feeling, the world is moving faster than ever, and yet there's sort of more pressure in a way. It feels like we should have more time, and we do in some ways, but there's more pressure and we've got to move faster. And I wonder, as you think about the work you and your teams are doing, is there something that ends up getting cut and it really shouldn't? You want to start, Liz?
Such a great question. I think when you're moving quickly, it's easy to miss taking a moment to reflect, doing retros, kind of saying, what did we learn from this? Where could we have done better? Also, really taking the time to go through and hone your taste, hone your judgment. And I think that's really the skill of creatives that will stand out in this AI era when there is such volume of content. Because obviously, when you type in a prompt to AI, that you can get thousands and thousands of options. And so it's sifting through those options that will differentiate a brand. And so I think taking the time to really hone your perspective and have a unique point of view is the true differentiator of brands in this new era. And so it's so important to take time to do that and to reflect and to really narrow in on how you're gonna be standing out in this world. And it's something that we think a lot about at Dropbox, and we really do take the time for that. But I think there are a lot of companies that aren't in this time and are trying to move too quickly. So I think it's important.
Sort of like being on a bike and you can't stop, right? How do you operationalize that with your team?
Making lightweight retros really non-optional at the end, but also just reminding your teams as a leader to just take a beat and okay, why? Let's bring it back to the human truth. How is this going to resonate with customers? Is this thinking about the customer journey? Where are people? How are people going to experience this when they're going through the journey? Always bringing it back to people, I think, is really important. So throughout the process, just reminding people to slow down, take a beat. Yeah.
And as a leader, really modeling that.
Exactly.
So important.
Yeah.
I would love for things to be cut. We just keep getting more and more incredible things to do. And the question is, how do you do it all? And hopefully these new tools help in some ways, but there's just so much opportunity. I'm an optimist. I have 3 daughters, so I have to think about the world in a certain way. It's like using these tools to be optimistic about the world and where you're going, and finding those stories that really matter, that resonate with people. Like I said, we do a lot of events. We bring people into an audience, and we put on a show for 90 minutes. So if you don't come to one of those shows, you don't get the whole Salesforce story. And so we do a lot of top of funnel. We skip the middle unless you're at an event, and then we do a lot of very targeted performance marketing, a lot on LinkedIn. We use your platform every possible way. And so it really is about how do we maximize the storytelling everywhere, and where are we going to be able to tell that story in any different way. But it's always more and more and more. And thank God for some of these tools, because it allows you to take on more. Sometimes the more doesn't come with more budget, as you and I will probably, how do we do this all with the budget that we have? And again, those tools are very helpful in that area as well, because the tools allow you, what she was talking about, the research, where should I put my money, what's working, what's not. The most difficult thing to do in a job like ours is taking money away from something that someone's been doing for a period of time, because that is no longer working the way that it was. And so what I really try to do always is fund outcomes, not people, because that allows you to shift those funds. And again, these tools are helping immensely, and for you to know in the moment what is working, what's not, where should we be shifting our funds, even when that upsets someone, because you're taking money from usually one person or one group, moving it to another. And we all need to become generalists. the more that you have marketing generalists that understand everything moved over here now, I didn't lose just what I was doing. I'm moving my tactic to this area, and whatever tools we can have that'll help us find that, I'm all in for that. I always have been.
Yeah, I mean, curiosity is more important than ever, and I am also hearing sort of foundational skills of understanding how to focus and prioritize, be resilient, and navigate change, I think is more important than ever. So if AI is allowing us to create content at scale, how do you guys as leaders of your creative organizations talk about what is uniquely human about your brand? I think you've hit on a little bit, but I wonder about, and how do you express that to your team to make sure everyone understands this is how we're going to stand out as a human brand?
Yeah, I think for us, we're lucky in that for as long as I can remember, and I started at Dropbox about 2013, so it's been a long time, we have focused on customers as our primary mode of telling stories. And that's a little bit because we care a lot about our customers. We listen to them a lot. It's a core tenet of the business. But also, Dropbox is sort of that silent partner in the background that's doing a lot of things that you might not think about but are incredibly important. Security, permissions, signing your documents, like keeping those comments in line and with the content as it flows through your process. Collaboration, like those are all things that are easy to forget about when you're deep in the work. And the best way of showing an invisible product is through the work that your customers are doing. So we like to tell stories through the work that they're actually doing with our products. So we have a program called Dropbox Studio where we invite creatives in and we say, is there a cool project that you want to do that we can fund? And in exchange, you tell a story about how you did it in Dropbox in your own words. And so we've told stories with incredible creatives from Solange to Bob Moses to record labels and film studios and creative agencies and things like that. And it's a great way to keep the customer in front of the lens and really telling the story for us and keeping it deeply human. So because we've been doing that for such a long time, it's so embedded and ingrained in our DNA that it's not really necessary to change. It's more like keep doing what you're doing.
I'm stealing that idea.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Stole it. That's a great idea. I mean, we're very much alike in our brands, that it's all about the customer. I remember when I joined, I've been at Salesforce now twice. I joined in 2010, and it was funny because your founders were there at a meeting, one of the first offsites.
Really?
The Dropbox founder was there, just talking about this new thing that he had built.
Amazing.
But that was interesting. I just had a memory of that. But there were no customer stories, really. We had some posters, and I went to Dreamforce, and there were 14,000 people in this audience listening to Mark Benioff and everybody all the way down the stage at the other end, talking about product, feature, function. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are they doing?
Over.
And the real story was outside that room. There were people that have built their careers on Salesforce helping to install it, who are now we call trailblazers. And so all of these things happening around were all about the success that people had using the product, the people that had success, doubling, tripling, quadrupling their salaries by becoming Salesforce administrators. And I'm like, this is the real story, the story of what they're doing with it. And it took me about a year and a half to pitch Mark about creating that first customer story. It's funny, and I ran into the CEO of Burberry, who's here, Angela Arendts, who on my floor was in the hotel, and it just reminded me of how difficult it was to get to that point, to change the culture and the marketing at Salesforce. But I came back with that first film that I made with her, and it just took Mark by surprise in many ways. He said, it was the first time I learned a new way to present to him, not on a deck, but play a film, because then he stops talking and watches the work. But he was like, I didn't know we could talk like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's who we were. And it was like, just go.
Yeah.
Make as many of these as you can. Excuse me.
No, it's fine. I mean, it sounds so obvious now, right? But we've experienced these moments where people have this aha. Yesterday I saw Oprah, and she was saying when you have an aha, it's actually just a reminder of something that you already knew.
It's always about the customer. In the moment you take your eyes of what your real purpose is, helping your customers succeed, you're not going to do great marketing in any aspect.
And what's your favorite trailblazer story?
Oh my God, there's so many. I mean, some of them are very emotional, and you know, it's just the life-changing of a person, that the community that they found, where they found themselves inside of it, and we have so many stories like that, and they're very inspiring.
Yeah, reflective of, you know, at the end of the day, you want to get home to your family, and oftentimes it comes back to who they are and what they care about.
I think everybody wants to get home and get away from work to the thing that they love to do, whether they have a family or not.
Sure, right.
And it's that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So you talked about sort of presenting to Mark and needing to show him that we can do this in a different way. And I think you all are focused on creativity and at the same time expected to drive performance, right? And when we see great ideas, we know that they can be sort of liked or shared, celebrated online. I wonder, as you know, as leaders of the creative organization, how do you know that something is resonating, right? Because something can be liked and shared, but it's actually not moving the needle in the business. So what are the signals that sort of you care about and think about?
You got to be a data-driven marketer today. I think you heard almost everything you said today was about you said something that I talk about all the time. It's like you got to start with the basics, the foundation. You skip, who am I talking to? Where are we? What do they believe in? What is our single most important message? Where are they now? What channels are they listening to? You skip all that and just go, oh, I got this really great idea. It just doesn't work. It never worked.
Yeah.
It worked back in the day when we took a year to get a brand study. But not anymore.
Right.
And so you have to be a data-driven marketer, and the best creative leaders in the world understand that. It's not just about the work, but because they know how to create great work, when they combine those things, the work just becomes magical. It's shared more and it drives performance, and then you can do more of it. So every time you really study what you need to do and why, and get great purpose wrapped around that, you just get an opportunity to do more and more of it. You get more budget, you get more opportunity. I don't know how you feel about it.
We see again and again that if you have great brand work, that it always performs better.
It's the first thing that will get cut.
Yes.
Budget.
Yep. And yet, the data will tell you that it works. You know?
It really does. I mean, I think you have to do the full funnel.
Sure.
You have to. You have to do it. Otherwise, you will always need more and more money for performance marketing. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's like more and more money just gets poured into the bottom of the funnel. And that does not drive the beauty and love of your brand. You have to have it all. You could turn it off for a little bit, but when you turn off the brand, your awareness, perception, consideration goes down. When you turn off performance, you turn off your short-term impact. But when you have an imbalance in any place, your brand is not succeeding as much as it could. And the proof is all there. It's just a matter of who's got the power at any given time to get the cash.
That's right.
Also
How about you, Liz?
so true. No, everything you said is spot on. I think there are times when you can tap into culture in a way that actually ends up driving the full funnel if you're lucky. Like, it's very rare. I think we're just, I think, tapping into something right now that I feel it could be that. We're starting to see a trend that's really interesting with creatives sort of wanting to tap into their community in a new way. A few months ago, the fashion house Maison Margiela reached out to us because they wanted to sort of open source creativity, something that had not been done before. They wanted to share their working Dropbox folders with their community for the first time, which is something I don't think any creative house had done. And so we worked with them to sort of customize that experience and share it out. And it created really a huge wave in the community. And there was a lot of incredible feedback. Young designers being able to take some of their iconic work and remix it and do what they wanted with it. And it was not just like, yes, likes and shares, but just unbelievable amounts of press, just like crazy sentiment, just a lot of people actually interacting with the product. So you can see that actual product engagement, which is, you know, things we don't typically see in the brand world because you're not actually engaging directly in product. And so that was really interesting. And, you know, we thought this is something, you know, we're starting to see something there. And then we started to hear more artists reach out. And the next one that came, Fred again, music producer, around the same time had been engaging with his audience in a very unique way. And this was nothing, we didn't have anything to do with this, can't take credit. But he really wanted his audience to be present at their concerts. So he said, please put your phones away. I will give you amazing photos and videos of the experience via Dropbox. I'll send you a Dropbox link at the end of the show, but like, please just be here with me. Have a community experience, just like be with me. I'll give you all the stuff you need later. And at the end of the tour, he reached out and said, I want to take this to the next level. Like, what can we do with all this great stuff that I've gathered? I want to like give them more. So we worked with him on a campaign to share a folder with tons more content. He shared stems and like poster designs and all sorts of things, and invited the fans to actually collaborate with him on some of this content to say, here's what I did. I want you guys to take it further, like do more with this. And it was unbelievable, the response that we got. So we saw not only folder engagement, but like new signups and so much actual down funnel engagement that you would not normally see from a brand campaign. And also just even more people coming to us and saying, oh my God, I want to engage with my fans in this way too. And the infrastructure is there to do it. It's just figuring out how do we enable these people at scale to do it. And so I think it's when you start to see a cultural trend of creatives wanting to connect in this way and wanting to like not just share, but engage in a two-way street. And there's a platform that actually enables that already. That's something that lets us take a brand campaign and drive it all the way through to the end of the funnel without actually paying for performance marketing.
That's a phenomenal idea.
Really
fantastic.
And truly like such a feel-good thing, and we're just having the most fun with it. So anyway, I'm just so proud of it.
And
so
what did
excited.
you do? It's just a product use case.
It's a great product
Wrapped
use case.
into a beautiful, like, wow, so we got to steal that idea as well.
And such an insight as a person who sees a lot of concerts. And I often do this and say, it's not going to be good tomorrow.
Yeah, you never watch the videos you take.
It's not going to be good. So can we just be here? Like, can we scale that across the music industry?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we were all at Cannes, going to the shows of the Spotify house, and you're like, oh my God, everybody just put your phone down.
That's true.
So great.
Yeah, the product use. I mean, the last time I won a gold lion was here doing a product use case. I was at Google at the time, but we're shortlisted for our big Super Bowl campaign that we did with Mr. Beast, which just was a disguise for a product use case.
Yeah.
We hired like biggest influencer in the world. We got the echo chamber with that, but all we did was we built our product to serve as the medium for his challenge, his competition. We had all these clues. We buried them in the Super Bowl commercial. The Super Bowl commercial was like a kickoff to a competition, which was like really interesting because it wasn't like the end of something. And then we hid all these clues in our marketing. We made 21 films with them, customer film. He's a power user of Slack, and that's why we worked with him. And all we did was follow his team around, how they use Slack to make this commercial in this competition, how they use Salesforce to run their business. We hid all the clues into the ads, and then you had to watch everything that we built in order to win and go into use Slack to make it happen. And it was just a product use case. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. You just put your product in the ads and make people see the beauty of it and how it works. So that was really fun.
Within an authentic experience that's built
Totally.
on a human insight.
Yeah, that's a great idea you have. I mean, you should get every customer to share a folder for some reason. I mean, we could share our brand assets or things that people are characters which they like to collect, or stickers or things they could print out and stick on their laptop. We're gonna have to create a Dropbox folder for all of our community fans, and we'll do that after this.
Right. So much creativity still to be unlocked. And,
all the time.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
Yeah. I'm so grateful to you guys for coming to the studio and sharing all of your thoughts and expertise and passion for what's ahead and optimism for what's ahead.
Come on.
And bravery that we're seeing. So thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great rest of Cannes.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.